I learned firsthand how police work has a way of accentuating your weaknesses, all the while pushing you to do and be better, stronger. The Academy is a place where the best excel and the rest, well, they move on to something else once they get a taste of in training what it takes to wear the badge.
Shoot your right eye. Excellent.
Firearms training is one of the most crucial parts of the Police Academy program. Criminals carry weapons, and as we've seen all too often, they're not afraid to use them.
We're saddened today because once again we lost one of our own, and it's too much and too many in a short span of time.
Which is why drills like these are taught to give officers the skills they need to respond in an instant. But it's tough to really understand how difficult this is without giving it a shot yourself, which is what I did.
Good, good.
Give me your left hand, sir. To try and get a handle on how these recruits are feeling as they go through months of relentless training.
Core! Whole core! It's all about the core!
It's not for everyone. It takes grit to summon all the stamina it requires to eventually wear the badge.
It's very painful. We go home with our wrists hurting, our shoulders hurting, backs, legs, everything.
It's about testing your limits. Seeing how much you can take before you can't take any more is at the heart of police training.
Hold your eyes open.
This is where it all begins and ends. If you can't cut it here, you'll be cut loose.
At this juncture, we just had a meeting in there, and I expect 5 people to fail.
So he puts a gun, I look at him, please, don't, okay, please, I have a family. Put the gun right on him.
Disarming a criminal is a lesson to be learned over and over.
Takes a lot of practice. All right, one more time. One more time. That's pretty good. For the first time. Good, good, good. That's it. Get away. Nice.
A lightning-fast response like this comes with experience. Constant training will help make all the difference here.
Okay, all right, here we go.
And then there's this. Getting the recruits off balance can actually serve them well on the streets.
It just takes them out of their comfort zone. We're always trying to teach them new things, and if you learn to work out of your comfort zone, maybe things won't surprise you so much when you're doing it for real.
Whoa, whoa! All right, okay.
Prepare for the block. Good. Move on up. Push-ups.
1, sir. Down. Get back. Get back. 6, sir. 7, sir. Get back. Down, sir. 9, sir. 10. Get back. 7, sir. 8, sir. And when the training escalates, anything can happen. Here, a real-life cop is struck by a recruit just doing what he's being taught.
I have good recruits. See, they know what they're doing.
So you actually got hurt.
Well, this is from them doing their exercises correctly.
But first, Art, of course, we cannot forget the victims of 9/11, the nearly 3,000 people who lost their lives here in Lower Manhattan 7 years ago today. Of course, we'll never forget, but we also shouldn't forget the people who came to the crash site to try and save as many lives as possible. The first responders, the unsung heroes who now are paying for their heroics with their health. No doubt they have lost a lot, and they're fighting to try and get it back. Here now a look at the lingering health effects of the World Trade Center attacks. They went in to save others, never thinking about themselves. The firefighters, law enforcement, National Guardsmen, EMTs, and many other responders, never thinking what the piles of deadly dust and debris might do to their health.
And these were people that took great pride in their health and their physical fitness, and they have been brought low by the exposures, the physical and the psychological exposures.
I've been diagnosed with the World Trade Center core, post-traumatic stress disorder, major depression, asthma, and sinusitis.
In fact, nearly 70% of those who responded to the World Trade Center attacks have lung and respiratory problems, including former EMT Marvin Bethea.
My lungs are shot, That's not going to get any better. If the weather's extremely cold, I pretty much got to be wrapped up or stay inside. If the weather's humid, forget it. I can't go out at all.
What Bethea has is known as World Trade Center cough.
You just start coughing, and frequently, you're coughing. My cough has gotten better. The asthma is still there.
It attacks the lungs and has incapacitating effects. His health is so compromised that Bethea is no longer able to work.
You feel like a broken man because it's still, I'm only 48 years old, and it's just trying to comprehend things that you used to be able to do, you can't do anymore.
Take a big deep breath. Blast it out quick. Good job. Keep going. Let's feel the air fading out. Keep going. Keep blowing. You're doing great. Keep going.
But compared to some, Bethea is lucky. All his treatment at Mount Sinai was paid for by private donations, and his workers' compensation case was settled 2 years ago.
I was blessed that I did receive a settlement from the government. I do get my Social Security. I am getting my benefits.
Others have lost their homes. Alex Sanchez took part in the cleanup of the World Trade Center site. And now he too is sick, on permanent disability. Sanchez not only lost his home, but his wife. He's now living with his mother and raising a 7-year-old son.
He always likes to call himself Super Daddy.
And my son is all I have, and I'm all he has. So I try to do the best I can on a daily basis, because I don't know if I'm not going to be here tomorrow or not.
Sanchez struggles with a host of ailments, including lung disease. He's forced to sleep in his closet and takes as many as 12 medications every day.
Taking medication, can't sit for a long time, can't stand for a long time, so I have to really round it off. It's even a big hassle just to get dressed. A lot of the work I do it from bed.
So what exactly is the cause of the World Trade Center cough? Dr. Philip Landrigan, who's treated thousands of 9/11 responders, describes the dust and debris as a toxic soup.
About 65% of the dust consisted of pulverized concrete, pulverized cement, which was very, very caustic, very, very alkaline. It had a pH of 10.5 or 11, which means it was like inhaling powdered Drano.
And there's more: asbestos, fiberglass, benzene, a solvent in the jet fuel and a known carcinogen, pesticides, dioxins, smoke and soot. Mix them all together, and no one knows exactly what the long-term effects will be on the tens of thousands of people who were exposed.
We know that these folks inhaled a complex toxic soup of dust and chemicals and smoke and vapors. Toxic chemicals, carcinogens were included in that. We don't know what the future holds.
The germ results are in. And it's what our hidden camera found on this fast food table that drew a red flag for microbiologist Dr. Dennis Kinney.
You could touch it, you could ingest it, and it can be essentially contagious.
Dr. Kinney identified the bacteria on the fast food table as Streptococcus oralis, meaning the table was contaminated by saliva, posing a risk for any number of infections.
The flu, the bird flu, SARS.
Serious maladies.
I am, yeah. And a number of bacterial infections, including pneumonia and tuberculosis.
Gas pump, because you have to wonder about these, how many people touch these things every single day.
Staphylococcus epidermidis.
That was the gas pump?
That was the gas pump, and that's normal flora of the skin.
You can just open it right up. There's no seal, nothing. And you don't know if someone's been messing with it.
The composition of lipstick, which is like wax and things like that, would inhibit bacterial growth.
Dr. Kinney says most cosmetic products contain antibacterial agents that help to stop the spread of germs and risk for infection. But he adds it's always a good rule of thumb to avoid using testers. I want to get to the payphones. You know, not a lot of people are using payphones these days, but they're still out there.
It's not cleaned regularly and not disinfected. And if there were something there, and because of that, it's likely that there would be something dangerous there over a period of time.
Dr. Kinney identified the bacteria as Staphylococcus epidermidis, or Staph epi, the same bacteria that was found on the gas pump handle. Bacteria commonly found on human skin.
And all it really means is that someone had touched it before you did.
If you're handling money, can you in fact get germs from that money?
But from person to person, someone with a cold just gives you your change. You put it in your pocket and scratch your nose.
Dr. Kinney identified the bacteria on the money as Streptococcus mitis, a bacteria commonly found in saliva, indicating someone may have coughed on the money, and that could result in an infectious disease.
Most of the major diseases, infectious diseases, are spread through respiratory secretions, coughing and sneezing.
Some germs can cause common illnesses like stomach aches and diarrhea, while other germs are much more serious. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, approximately 40 million Americans get sick from germs every year. Surprisingly, the most common place to find germs is right under your nose. You can contract an infectious disease simply by shaking someone's hand. Of course, we all shake hands. It's just what we do, but you have to take those precautions because it can spread very easily.